Screen doesn't like it.
Good afternoon, everyone. This meeting of the Sacramento Regional Solid Waste Authority is hereby called to order, and I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, if the clerk would please call the roll.
Good afternoon. Directors Ashby? Here. Carr?
Here.
Frost?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Peters? Cerna?
Here.
And Gira. You have a quorum.
And
Thank
Natoli's here
Oh,
too.
I'm sorry, Mr. Natoli.
That's all right. I know I kind of blend into the landscape.
You've been here so long. You're part of the
You might need my vote
institution.
somewhere along the line, though. Just remember that. So,
I apologize.
yeah, not dead yet. That's right.
Part of the furniture.
This
Been here too long.
You're going to go ahead and read the public statement, please.
This meeting of the Solid Waste Authority is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications, and AT&T U-verse cable systems. The meeting is closed caption and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, April 15th at 4 p.m. and on Tuesday, April 17th at noon on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker identification card located at the back door and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record.
Okay, and I have two requests to speak for item number 7, so I'm thinking I will hold those items until we get to agenda item 7. Are there any other requests to speak? So with that being said, I don't see any. We will move on to the next item, please.
Your first item is your general manager's report.
Thank you, and good afternoon, members of the board, members of the public. I do have a report this month. I would like to start out with some introductions. We have recently added to our SWA staff Jennifer Claiborne. Jennifer worked for the City of Sacramento in the Economic Development Department. She went from there over to work for Clean World on the permitting side, and as they went through some changes, ended up actually running the plant. And so she provides us with a huge amount of background experience, contacts within the organic side, anaerobic digestion, some of the things that will be in the future for us. So I'm really pleased that she's now part of the staff helping us out with those issues. The other introduction I would like to make here on my left is Tim Israel. Tim is a senior civil engineer working out at Kiefer Landfill, mostly for the last. SWA board members will remember that he's worked on SWA projects in the past. The recent one was the RFP that initially started the CityCan project. And so Tim is well-versed with preparing board reports, analysis, and he's actually now the senior staff person coordinating all the SWA staff activities. So budget, agenda, the different reports, those kind of things. And so he and I have been working real close to try and get up to speed with a number of items.
Welcome, Jennifer and Tim.
Thank you. Just want to give you a couple of updates on some items that are covered here, but on the street can litter program, we purchased an additional 40 cans that was previously approved. We're working with the Watt Avenue, Stockton Boulevard, and Broadway P-bids to get those cans out. And soon we will have in service 96 litter cans and 64 recycling cans. On the artwork on litter container program, we are working with Republic and Midtown to formulate the guidelines for the artwork to be placed on the containers. The illegal dumping analysis, this was one approved by the board at our last meeting. They actually have a draft report out. It's pretty lengthy. We're hoping to have details of that available for you at the May meeting. May agenda I wanted to talk about for a second. That's usually the meeting where we present the budget. We will be providing a little more detail this time with the budget than we have in the past. But one of the things that Tim and I have been working on is there was a handbook for new members that was developed back in 2013. I'm not sure that it ever got finalized and given out to new board members, so we're in the process of going through and updating that. We're planning to give that out to all the board members. It's kind of a history of the SWA, what the SWA can and can't do. In that process, we've spent some time going back and looking at the bylaws, and we have determined that, from my perspective, I was always under the impression that the SWA money was for commercial projects only. We went back and looked at the bylaws and determined that, in fact, the SWA has very broad powers that will cover both residential and commercial areas, which is actually good news for some of the things that the board has talked about doing. And as we look for the future and how we handle SB 1383 and some of the other new regulations coming down the pike, we feel comfortable that SWA is a great vehicle for helping us handle some of those issues, both from the city and the county standpoint. And finally, I just wanted to mention the rural exclusion zone. We've made some changes to the ordinances, and we were asked to provide an update. That implementation has gone seamlessly, and the impact has been pretty insignificant to the overall regional diversion programs, and it primarily affected the accounting systems, but it's worked out pretty well. And with that, that's my board report for today.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. And do any of the directors have any questions or comments? And we're moving on to consent items. Any questions or comments regarding consent? We have a motion and second from Director Cerna. Director Carr, move, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Your next item is election of chair and vice chair for 2018.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
I am the vice.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm the vice chair, so I guess I'll open it up for comments or questions.
Yeah, I'd like to, I've had a conversation with Director Guerra, and I know that he's served very well this year as chair. He's expressed an interest in continuing in the leadership as vice chair for next year, which is a little unusual in terms of the time between service in that capacity. But I don't know how other directors feel, but I think he's been doing just a terrific job, and I'd like to nominate Mr. Guerra to continue serving in a leadership capacity as vice chair in 2018-19.
And it includes Supervisor Frost as chair next year?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have an ability to push a button, but I'm happy to second that motion.
Okay.
That's why Angelique showed up today, to make
So
sure
we have a
that there's
motion?
no change of plans.
So we have that's. Do we have any other motions for chair or vice chair?
I know we generally rotate the chair and the vice chair between the city and the county, and so it's the city's time, and the city proudly accepts the nomination of Eric Guerra for vice president next year.
And he has done a good job. And
He's done
so
a great job.
That's great. So with that, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Next item,
You
please.
didn't even have to put out
Your
any
next
yard
item is-
I didn't
signs.
even have to fight for it.
No yard signs or anything.
I know, it was easy.
And I noticed Mr. Carr and Ms. Ashby weren't fighting Mr. Guerra.
Your next item is update on regional organics recycling.
Do we
With
have a
that,
report on?
Chair
on
Frost, Dave Gardelli, SWA staff.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Frost, members of the board, Dave Gardelli with SWA staff. This is an update on organics recycling in the region. Organics means a lot of different things. Specifically, what the resolution before you attached to the board letter for this item is a resolution that would grant the waiver of the recycling incentive fee, which is a penalty for franchisees that don't hit their 30% diversion standard. So of organics generally, what we're talking about in this resolution is narrow. It is food waste from the commercial sector. What we've had is a bit of a perfect storm. When you advance and develop good diversion programs, you have to keep several moving parts advancing at the same time. You have a lot of chicken and egg scenarios. On the one hand, there is behavioral change, there is education and outreach to get the waste generators thinking differently about their waste materials. Going to put this in this can and this in this can. On the second hand, you have collections infrastructure. You have franchisees or recyclers who collect material, different containers, working out routes. And of course, on a third hand, you have facility development. Facility development and support is one of the trickiest pieces, and we have had a perfect storm. When we first embarked on the effort of keeping the SWA region, the city and the county, compliant with AB 1826, which required food waste recycling from advanced in tiers, first large generators and then medium-sized and smaller generators. We developed a certification program for the food waste recyclers. 3 facilities ended up getting certified, 2 anaerobic digesters and 1 composting facility. A 4th facility was partway through its certification process when we had a series of problems. The 2 anaerobic digesters ended up with some technical difficulties and some regulatory difficulties. And they steered in a different direction, a different business model, looking for food waste materials that were more liquid in content. Less solids, more liquids. The composting facility that was certified is 40 miles and some away, and they ended up with kind of the exact opposite problem. If you can imagine a tomato, a food waste tomato, it's nice and solid and garbage and it'll dumble right out of the truck. But if you pack it into a packer truck or in a compactor, it's going to squish and a lot of the liquids are going to come out. And when the truck tips at the composting facility, that's too much liquid running out. And that's a problem with regulators. So, you know, on the one hand, we have too much solid. On the other hand, we have too much liquid. So number of loads ended up being rejected. We have a problem making sure that those loads delivered there by some of our franchisees are accepted for the composting. The 4th facility, the other composting facility, suffered a fire. So we've had some facility development problems. Keeping the big picture in mind of trying to advance these programs. Food waste recycling is going to become the norm. And that's quite an undertaking. It's going to affect the commercial sector. It already has. It will ultimately affect the residential sector as well. The most difficult part of making that program work is the behavioral change. And for the last year and a half, our franchisees, one in particular, has done a yeoman's job at making sure that restaurant owners, busboys, prep kitchen staff, all manner of folks working in the food industry in Sacramento, both city and county, are thinking differently about their waste. The SWA has a 30% diversion standard, and a franchisee or two who have really done a great job at doing that behavioral change, that education and outreach effort, now faces, because these loads are not recyclable and end up either going to facilities that are not certified or sometimes to disposal, are getting penalized. And we think staff thinks from a public policy perspective, it's best not to undo that behavioral change and collection infrastructure effort. And so what the resolution before you is the ability for the general manager engineer to waive the recycling incentive fee, to waive the penalty for haulers, SWA franchisees who have done everything we have asked them to do. Do the education, do the outreach, do the separate collection, and then have trouble getting rid of the material. This is a temporary setback. The infrastructure will be developed. We understand that one of the composting facilities will be relocating over to Yolo County. We understand that the franchisees who are having difficulty are working with the compost facility that's certified and operating in Solano County to minimize the problems with the water, the liquid content. We understand the two digesters are working with the franchisees to try to nuance the collection of the materials so that at least some of these generators can produce a waste material they can utilize. We just don't think that invoking that penalty on the folks who have done everything we've asked them to do is particularly good public policy at this point. So that's the resolution in front of you. Now again, organics means a lot of things to a lot of different folks, and the state defines it in a number of pieces of legislation and regulations that follow it. Organics means green waste, it means lumber. According to one definition, it includes some forms of carpet. So again, city and county staff and SWA staff, we're trying to read the tea leaves here to see what the regulations are going to look like in the future. But we think at this stage in the game, penalizing haulers who have done, again, everything we've asked them to do would not be the best idea. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
We have a question from Director Carr.
That makes a lot of sense. When I visit Napa, they take the food waste, tomatoes, paper towels, everything, and dump it in a little bag, and then they put it in with the yard clippings. What are they doing that, how are they able to accomplish that and we can't do that?
There are two composting facilities in Napa, one of which might be in Napa, it might be just across the border in the neighboring county, but one of the ones that had the fire is located up in that area. Composting facilities can do that, and as a matter of fact, the consensus that seems to be emerging amongst jurisdictions who have, and again, we're talking at this point now about the residential waste, the consensus that seems to be emerging is put the food waste in with the green waste container. That's not the only option on the table, but it is certainly something that a path most jurisdictions are going down. They have a composting facility that can accept that material. The bags, there are compostable bags. Their performance in composting, there's a little bit of mixed results there, but generally speaking, yes, the materials can be composted.
We just don't have a facility here?
We do not have a facility.
When being developed?
Well, the SWA board did consider a green cycle facility a few years ago. When that made its way through the environmental review process, it actually went out to an RFP process. The bids came back in, and they were not what the market would support here at that time.
We're going to try it again?
Certainly. We could. I mean, certainly. That is an option. I mean, the idea of supporting a regional composting facility is definitely something that staff at both the city and the county are in support of. And yes.
County Council, did you?
Yes.
Did you have a comment?
Oh, no,
That's
I did
me.
not. Sorry.
I don't know why it says county council.
Okay.
I just wanted to weigh in. I believe Yolo County and their permit to expand what they're doing on the compost, their application into Cal Recycle was to include food waste. So for us, that's great news, whether you're in the city or the county, because that gives us an avenue for a commingled product that we don't have today.
Okay. Any other questions of staff before we have our public speakers? Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask Evan Edgar to the podium, followed by Dave Sikich.
Chair and board members, my name is Evan Edgar, citizen of Sacramento for the last 25 years. I used to get compost here at 28th Street, pick it up years ago. I'm not here to talk about SWA number 26, but I support the certification program with regards to what it needs to do with regards to what was presented today. But I want to talk about not reading the tea leaves, I'm drinking the tea leaves, I'm making the tea, and I make compost. What I did was I presented a report to SWA staff about how many, and you got a copy of it during email last month, about how many tons are out there. What I was hoping to hear today from SWA staff was more about SB 1383. It's, the regulations are in draft form. There's a workshop on May 7th. They'll be adopted in late 2018 or 2019 and effective by 2022. It's not only CalRecycle, but CARB has oversight. This is not a recycling bill. This is a climate change bill. When you put organics in a landfill, it creates methane. And that methane is a short-lived climate pollutant. CARB's doing a lot of good work, and Board Member Cerna does great work on CARB. And what you didn't hear today was that it's a shared responsibility, not only with a generator and a hauler and a facility operator, but it's with local government. They have fines up to $10,000 per day, per city, per county. It could be SWA, but nobody really knows because it is within your purview in the past to do a facility, but it's not certain your direction because at the last green cycle analysis, green waste recycling was elusive. It's been elusive ever since, and what I heard today gave me more confidence that it's going to happen in Sacramento County. There's 170 facilities statewide. I represent 30 facilities statewide. City of Reading, City of Modesto, City of Bakersfield, they have compost facilities. They put food waste in it. It's very doable. It's not brain surgery. It's organic compost. It makes really good fertilizer for the agricultural community. What I didn't hear today was that there's about 200,000 tons per year by 2020, another 360,000 tons per year by 2030 needs to be diverted by SWA. Those are real numbers. I asked SWA staff to verify them. They have not. But with using the CalRecycle model, that's the lift we have to do. About 3 to 4 times the green cycle of the past. A lot of your stuff is going towards landfill ADC, greenness for ADC. This is about a climate action plan. Each county and the city had a climate action plan. By putting organics in a landfill, it creates a lot of methane. For the 200,000, since 2010, when the county adopted the climate action plan, 200,000 tons of green waste have been put in the landfill, making 46,000 metric tons of CO2. This is a climate change bill, not a recycling bill, and we need to work with climate change. The city adopted a zero waste plan in 2010, but zero waste by 2040. Since then, there's been a 31% increase in waste disposal. We're going in the opposite direction at a critical time when climate change and greenhouse gases are a real deal. So working with SWA staff, I met with them and try to look towards a future. And what is a future? Is another RFP put out? Is it SWA's responsibilities? Whose responsibility is it? Is it county? Is it city? I think the public wants to know what's going on with compost in Sacramento County because other people can do it, and it's on a mandate with fines and penalties for the cities and counties who do not comply. And that starts in 2022, and to develop a compost facility takes me 5 to 7 years. I developed over 30 compost facilities statewide since 1990, and it can happen here, and it should happen here. Any questions, please?
Thank you, Mr. Edgar. Do you, next I'm going to invite Mr. Dave Sikich.
Hi, and thank you. My name's Dave Sikich with Atlas here in Sacramento. We've been a waste and recycling collector for over 20 years now. And I'm here today in support of the staff recommendation. It's been an interesting 12 months. I think I was here a year ago talking about 4 facilities that we had that were collecting our food, that were taking our food waste. And at that time, I felt that we had great backups. We had a lot of redundancy in the system, and I couldn't imagine that I'd be here today with 4 facilities closing really in a matter of weeks toward the end of last year for a variety of reasons that staff went into. So, you know, I'm here in support of this. Our programs are in place. We're continuing to collect source separated. Our education is in place, and we're going to work through this. It doesn't happen quickly. The facilities are challenging. They're, new technology, and there's issues that have to be worked through. The one thing that was clear to me is that, when you have a hole in the ground like a landfill, it never breaks. You just bring the stuff and you throw it in. There's never a problem. But with this conversion technology and this new era of waste collection and waste handling that we're in, it's a little more challenging. So I think it's going to take more redundancy, more facilities. I would certainly support a regional facility that could possibly handle the green waste of both of your jurisdictions and be either a primary or a backup facility for commercial food waste. But with that, I'll end my comments if you have any questions.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Sikich. And at this time, Director Natoli.
Yes, so you're asking for action today to suspend the penalties and continue to report back to this board. Obviously, we've heard comments from members of the audience who are, engaged in different ways and not only seeing hopefully other facilities come on board, but I think kind of question about what our task is. But I think today, as I heard it, you want us to give you some authorities. I don't know that was in the I guess it's waiving penalties for franchisees. Is that what we're doing today?
Right. So the resolution does have the very last sentence of the first page. It's really the 30% diversion as it relates to food collected disposal.
And I guess
that's the real problem.
Yeah, the only question I would have, so what period of time do you think this waiver will need to be in place before, again, we don't control the marketplace, obviously, we don't control facilities or the permitting of them. What do you anticipate would be the time frame here for doing this?
I remember Cal Recycle, Yolo County was getting approval for a permit, I think it was last month, but I don't have a timetable in terms of when they would start accepting new material. I would say, too, that the county waste management staff and the city waste management staff have been having discussions about the total tonnage that's available between the city and the county, and that could be very attractive to one of the facilities in terms of the volume.
Okay, again, I want to be sure that the temporary situation that's been represented to us is in fact temporary, and that if there are other things that you don't foresee, that none of us in this room may foresee, as it relates to facilities coming online, getting the proper permits, and then being opportunities for us to potentially channel the products there, then you'll come back to us, and I assume that we're talking about a matter of maybe a few months at most here, but maybe even a few weeks potentially if...
I'm hoping it's not more than 6 months, but we'll have a better answer that we can update you in the May meeting.
All right. Very good. Okay. Then I would move the staff recommendation at this juncture with the anticipated reports back on where we're headed with all this. Thanks.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.
Your next item is expansion of program support towards reducing blight and illegal dumping. It's a pilot program.
My name's Chris Leon. I'd like to explain the rebate program. It's going to be a pilot program providing reimbursement for P-bids that take material to a transfer station or disposal site that's collected on the street corner is perceived how it will be. Very similar that the SWA has actually done a 75% rebate for the early adopters for the organics program. This would run very similar to like how the local 511.org or the Air District provides vouchers for people taking carpools and things like that. I have a sample application on the back of the board report, and I'm currently working that out with contracts and legal counsel on the significance of what the P-bids would have to do. They would seek reimbursement for taking material to disposal sites that was collected in their area. And as of that, I would like to keep it short and to the point as the report was.
Director comments? Director Natoli.
Just a question on the general rules. Why is it nearly 50% more of the cost, actually more than for tonnage reimbursable north of the river than it is south of the river?
We were using the county transfer station, NARS, North Area Recovery Facility, and then we also used Kiefer landfill for the south because that was the two proposal sites when we came up with the idea of this project of using Kiefer landfill in the south. And then, so we picked those rates based on what the county facilities are, disposal rates in those areas.
So then the P-bid is directed to
They can use any type of disposal facility they choose to, but we will reimburse them based on what the county rates are for north of the river and south of the river.
So does that incentivize them going to, for the little longer drive and maybe a little more weight? Does it
Or Florin
incentivize driving to
Perkins example,
North Watt
or
Avenue?
they could use Elder Creek facility, which is privately owned and operated, and if the disposal rate is $30, we would reimburse them the $30.
Okay, so let me ask it this way then. So wherever they take it to that's on the list, they get reimbursed for that rate. So if they took it to Kiefer, they get X. If they took it to the collection site on Elder Creek, then they could get X. And if they go to NARS, they get X. So wherever they take it to for the point of disposal, then that's what they get reimbursed, right? It basically
Not the point of disposal. If they use a disposal facility south of the river, it'd be the $30 equivalent. So if it's $35, if they go to, let's say, L&D landfill, they would be reimbursed up to that $30 because we've offered them to use Kiefer landfill and NARS. And since there was consideration for using other facilities, we opened it up to be $30 south and $48.
So you're going to pay them 50% less to drive all the way out to Kiefer, and you're going to reimburse them more to drive it to NARS. Now, but then we end up transporting that. So you need to help me then understand. I understand where the costs are, and as you know, you get double the handling when you take it to NARS. But you're going to so again, if I'm sitting somewhere in that Folsom Boulevard, Watt Avenue, why do I want to drive all the way out to Kiefer to get basically 50% less reimbursement? Now I'm just going to get into the whole traffic mode and drive it to NARS and get there and get $48 a ton. So are we creating kind of some false incentive here for transport?
Good question.
Doug, again, this is not a trick question. I'm just trying to understand. And maybe I'm not taking this far enough in my thinking, but I want to get an understanding about that. So.
Well, let me jump in for a second. Okay. So part of this is we're reimbursing for the disposal fees.
Yes.
So if they're using their own vehicles, clearly if they're going to drive further, they're going to spend more in wages to get that out there. And some of the P-bids use haulers or contracted people for the service. And so it gets a little bit complicated because not all of the P-bids handle the material the same way. So what we were trying to do was just equalize everything up and just say, okay, if it's north of the river, it's at the NARS rate. We honestly think that the P-bids down south, the ones that I was in the meetings with, they would take it to one of the local facilities and get reimbursed $30 because it's much quicker for them to get rid of the material that way than driving all the way up to NARS and getting a little bit more money.
And they don't get a full reimbursement even then, though. So they pay 30. To your point, they get 35. They pay 35, and they get all but $5 of that dollars back, I guess, if that's the way it works. It just
again, this is a pilot program, and so we're trying to get this going to work out some of the bugs and work with some of the P-bids in terms of what they actually need. When we had our stakeholder meetings in the summer, one of the things we talked about was if the P-bid area, you have a 4-corner intersection that's all commercial and the P-bid only covers one, are they willing to go out and pick up the material at the other 3 corners that really helps the area reduce illegal dumping? How do we reimburse for that? How do they track time? So we're trying to really kick this off and again, identify what some of those bugs are. They may determine that the reimbursement at $30 isn't enough, in which case we'll be back to the board to increase that amount to make sure that we can cover that.
Okay. No, I support the pilot project, and I know the PBs obviously they administer their membership dollars in different ways, and but certainly keeping things clean is a top priority, and I just didn't want to in a situation where you're discouraging folks to go to the closest one and then add to the traffic congestion and everything else, because heck, once I got in a truck, spend a few more minutes in traffic depending upon the time of day and so forth, and I'm going to make some money on this potentially. Anyway, okay.
Director Carr.
Yeah, building on that, because I'm going to have to explain this to my community. If you're north of the American River, you get $48 a ton. If you're south, you get $30 a ton. And that's going to be hard for me to explain. can I take, if I'm in the south of the river, can I take my stuff north of the river?
If you wanted to. But if you're a P-bid and you're paying employees to go do that, you're paying the additional wages to take it up there. Right? If you're paying a contractor, you're going to pay extra for the contractor to take it up there.
Why wouldn't we have everyone go to the cheapest facility?
Well, and again, from a logistical standpoint, there's only one transfer station up on the north side of town, and so we were trying to make that one accessible. That's the $48 at the NARS transfer station. People are not going to drive from close to NARS all the way out to Kiefer Road because of the time and traffic and things like that.
Plus they get $18 less a ton.
So yeah, but why not have them? Why not an equal rate? I guess is another way to ask the question.
That's just what we talked about in the meetings over the summer. I mean, if the board would like to have a standard rate, that's fine.
I think it's important to note that it's a direct reimbursement, so they would go to NARS and pay $48 a ton, then we would reimburse them for that. So essentially what we're doing is just paying them for the disposal fee at those two facilities. So there's no real incentive for them to go from the south area up to NARS. They're going to be paying $48. We're just going to pay them back for it.
Yeah.
But if I could, though, I did hear, though, that if they went to one of the private facilities at $35 a ton, that they're only going to get paid $30, right?
Correct.
So they're not getting fully reimbursed. That was my point, Tim, is that somewhere along the line, again, not that maybe the margins are small enough here, and this is a pilot program, but that there was another piece interjected into beyond. And again, when it comes down to it, we're paying ourselves back. I mean, we're reimbursing anyway because this is coming under SWA and it's county operated. Transfer station, so it's just a matter of one pocket and another and getting the trash, obviously, that we're processing. But So are there any other examples, if I could just ask, where they would take a lower reimbursement by going to someplace closer beyond, I don't see much incentive to go to Kiefer. If I'm only going to get 30 anyway, I'm paying 35. Why would I want to drive all the way out to Kiefer? But maybe that's the whole idea. How many facilities can accept this?
I think there's 4, and all of the market rates that they advertise on their websites is more than $30 per ton. So if somebody wants to drive all the way out to Kiefer, they'll be directly reimbursed $30, but if they want to use another locally operated transfer station in the South Sacramento area, they will be only reimbursed for up to $30 of.
So is a receipt that's submitted?
Excuse me. Are you finished, Director Natoli?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So is a receipt that's submitted driving this or not?
Yes, there is. They will be required to submit documentation of where the material was collected and then their receipts.
And no matter what the situation, whether they decided to use the north transfer, south, the river transfer, Kiefer, or private, this pilot is suggesting that there's just going to be a direct reimbursement despite which one they choose.
Up until the disposal rate based at, because it first was proposed that they would use a county facility, and very few people wanted to drive out to Kiefer landfill. So we supplemented that by giving you more options for transfer stations somewhere else, and we used the basic rate for disposal at Kiefer for that.
And this is how we talked about the program over the summer. If you would like to have us just fully reimburse if they want to use L&D and it's $35, as long as they produce a receipt, I'm fine with that.
That's where I was kind of going with it. Is
I'm fine with
why
that.
not just leave it up to where the person or people that are disposing of the rubbish as to where they want to take it, give us a receipt, and it's a direct reimbursement. That to me seems the simplest way to do it.
And I guess, but not to exceed the $48 rate, obviously, or whatever the highest rate is in the South. I don't know what the other rates are, but.
Well, the different facilities in the South are all owned by different companies, and they all have different rates.
That way you guarantee you're not going to make money on it, right?
Right.
Right, we're not reimbursing for the labor because conceptually we had a hard time figuring out how much labor they would put into the invoice and how do we track that. And
Are they reimbursed
it's very
by the
similar for when
tonnage?
you buy a toilet, they give you, your local water district gives you a rebate, and you're sort of making up the difference of purchasing the type of toilet you want.
But they're reimbursed, they're charged based on the weight of their load and reimbursed based on the charge?
Depending
Or is it
upon-
just a flat
Depending
fee?
upon the facility and depending on how they take it. So if they bring it into a pickup and they take it to the landfill, it could be $20, flat rate. If they take it to a facility that weighs everything, then it would be based on the weight times the tonnage, right? So, but it varies facility to facility. Some of the facilities usually have minimum charges. So Chris mentioned, I think, 35 at L&D. Some of the other ones have a minimum charge that's much higher than the county's $20, $25 for a pickup. And in that case, it's just a flat rate. There's no tonnage information there.
Are you done? Any other questions? Mr. Carr?
Just want to make sure I understand. If I collect a ton of rubbish on Florin Road, I can take it to the north landfill and get reimbursed $48 a ton.
Yeah, you're going to pay $48 a ton to get rid of it, and then we're going to reimburse you whatever that charge was.
That was a yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question that relates to the P-bids. Is it all the P-bids that will have this opportunity, and then you will budget a certain amount for each P-bid to participate in the pilot, or are you selecting specific P-bids that are in worse areas that have more?
This is open to all who want to participate, and we will regulate it for, if we earmark $10,000, we want to make sure we're not at a $10,000 in the first month. So we're going to make sure it's metered out appropriately based on the aggregate funding.
So
And
you're
it's-
going to basically divide up the amount of money you have and give that amount to each P-bid, and when they use that up, that's it for the year type thing, or
Well, when we had our
is it
stake,
first come, first? It's said in here, it's not first come, first serve, so.
no, we're trying to be equitable about it, but to be honest with you, when we had our stakeholder meetings, there were some P-bids that weren't interested in participating. And we
Okay.
have some that are very active and really want to do this. Power
Okay.
In Alliance was one that was really interested in it. And so we think that as the word spreads, we may get more people interested, but we just didn't want one entity taking all the money and being very aggressive about that and not having some ability to spread it out to the other ones that were interested.
Yeah.
We're going to try and make the system as fair as we can.
Yes, Director Cerna.
So when's the first check-in to see how well it's going?
We have to finish the application in the contractual language, so I would think perhaps September would be the first time we can come back to the board and say, here's what we've distributed.
Because we won't have enough in place by the May meeting, and we don't meet again until September.
So knowing that, I would suggest to my colleagues that seems like a reasonable enough time to know how well it's working, where the kinks are, if there are some, whether or not there's just a singular P-bid that's benefiting, or if there's more benefit going around. So I'm comfortable, I guess, with the explanation that's been given, supporting it the way it's been explained.
Give it a try and see what you learn.
Okay, any other questions of staff?
Do you need a motion?
I don't have any public comment, so I need a motion.
I'll move staff's recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
One point of clarification.
Okay.
Did that motion include the reimbursement at the facility rate, not the $30 rate that we were talking about, or is it at the $30 rate for the south area?
Whatever's your staff
Well,
recommendation.
it seems like in one place you're reimbursing them for what they spent, and in another place you're reimbursing them for a little bit less than what they spent, right?
And that was the staff
Right.
recommendation. Though.
Yeah.
That's what they recommended.
So
What you recommended.
Right, no, in the
Was
staff
that the
report, we
motion?
recommended the 30, and then
I would have.
as we talked,
I would have said something different.
I think it was,
right, we changed that to say the facility that they take it to.
he's moving staff's recommendation, so it was based on staff's recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Your next item is expansion of program support and agreements for code enforcement services.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Israel, SWA staff. Actually, the next three items are kind of comboed, and that is we are asking you to approve contracts with city and county code enforcement. So basically, what we're doing is formalizing the changes you made in those budgets in the fall with these contracts. These new contracts will be 3-year contracts with an additional 3 1-year additional extensions on those. Future scope and budgets for these contracts will be determined in the SWA's budget process. So every year you will have a chance to reevaluate the amounts and scope of work, and then we can go ahead and do administrative type of amendments to those contracts. So both city and county code enforcement staff are here. They're prepared to make some presentations and answer your questions. Any questions?
Any questions at this point? Maybe this would be a good time to hear the presentations.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. And I believe we will start with the City of Sacramento Code Enforcement. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, SWA Board. I'm Jerome Council, the General Manager for the Recycling and Solid Waste Division, and I'm here to give you an overview of our illegal dumping program. All the stats that I'll be talking about today are from calendar year 2017. 2017, we had over 12,000 reports of illegal dumping in the City of Sacramento. The attached map is as you can see, each dot is an indicator of a report of illegal dumping. The dumping is chronic citywide. Well, not chronic citywide, but it occurs citywide. The deeper the concentration of blue, the more chronic the dumping in that area. Some of the problematic areas we have in the north area, Del Paso Heights, the central city, which is primarily from gardeners and illegal green waste dumping, Oak Park area, and to the southeast, the Lemon Hill, Fruit Ridge area, and the South Sacramento and the Merrillville area. Report flow. All of our reports of illegal dumping go through 311. 311 receives reports from a number of sources, but primarily from city staff and residents. They come in and through email apps, smartphone apps, and calls to 311. 311 takes those reports and they screen them, they triage them. Any report that, if the reports are only a report of illegal dumping with no general supporting information, then those reports go to the service cloud and they are manifested for pickup. If the report has information that could aid code enforcement to cite the perpetrators, then those reports are entered into citizen service where a case is generated. Code enforcement goes out and investigate each case. The results of those cases can either be there's not enough evidence to proceed and they're manifested for collection, a citation, or it could end up in a notice of violation. Our enforcement results for 2017, we had over 600 cases investigated in 2016. 2% resulted in citations. 37% were a lack of evidence. 20% were early outs. Early outs are a byproduct of our household junk program. We advise our residents not to put out any material for collection prior to 24 hours prior to pickup. So the early outs are simply residents putting it out prior to that time frame there. 20% resulted in a notice of violation. 18% were unfounded. Either the directions weren't accurate enough to locate the pile, or it could have been a pile that was a result of a household junk appointment that was already collected. And 3% of the cases are still open. Evidence, citations, and reward. 38% of our lack of evidence cases have witnesses who decline to sign a witness statement. When there's a citizen that reports or witnesses illegal dumping without a sworn statement, that case will not hold up at an administrative hearing, and therefore it is dropped. Cases must end in a conviction for it to be reward eligible. Last year we issued out 4 rewards. Deterrence. We have cameras, 3 remote viewing cameras. They have about 30 days worth of capacity before they start recording over each other, recording over that data. And we also have 2 solar-powered cameras that have about 2 to 3 days worth of storage capacity. And after that, a code officer has to go out to that camera and remotely download the images, and that takes about 30 minutes to download. We also patrol hotspots. We collaborate with PBIDs and the neighborhood associations, and we erect signage to prevent and mitigate illegal dumping. Our household junk program is an alternative. I consider an alternative to illegal dumping. We give each of our residents 2 household junk appointments per year. From calendar year 2016 to 2017, there was an increase of 3,000 appointments. And also, we offer 1 free dump coupons for citizens. And these programs are to allow our residents to get rid of bulky waste items that can't be disposed of in our normal curbside collections. Outreach. We use several mediums for outreach. We use billboards, posters of illegal dumping. We have those printed posters in English and Spanish. We also have the PDFs that are in Cantonese, Vietnamese, Pujami, Russian, and Ukrainian. We ran commercial spots on Fox 40, and we also do ads in front of movie theaters. The household junk pickup signs and appliance e-waste signs, we use those for billboards, signage on all of our refuse trucks. It cost us about approximately $900,000 to execute our illegal dumping program, and the below graph is kind of the results of our program last year. Over 12,000 instances of illegal dumping, 11,000 of those collected, 600 cases. 260 of those cases were dropped for lack of evidence. Issued 196 notice of violations, 8 citations, and 4 rewards. That is the conclusion of my presentations. Are there any questions?
Questions for Mr. Jerome? No questions at this time. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Jerome. I see Barry Chamberlain here. Sacramento County, please.
Good afternoon. I'm actually Brandon Heffley. I'll be speaking instead of Barry this afternoon.
Did you say Ryan? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Good afternoon, members of the board and of the public. I'm Brandon Heffley, Supervising Code Enforcement Officer for Sacramento County. As about 6 months ago, I've been supervising the county's illegal dumping team, and I also prepared the summary report our department submitted to the board. The Sacramento County illegal dumping team is tasked with investigation and prevention of illegal dumping and enforcement of SWA regulations on public and private property throughout unincorporated Sacramento County. The team is staffed by 3 of our code enforcement officers, and those officers report to me as their supervisor, and then me to Code Enforcement Division Chief Barry Chamberlain. So we recognize the problem of illegal dumping affects basically everyone. I know personally. I live in Sacramento County, and I see dumping that occurs, at least monthly, if not more often than that, in my own neighborhood. And I suspect that there's probably very few residents of our county that haven't witnessed that same thing to some extent or another. So to combat that problem, our main tools are education and outreach. We issue violation notices. We also issue criminal citations when possible. And of course, we can use preventive measures such as signage and other visible deterrents and ensure that the properties are providing sufficient waste capacity to meet their occupants' needs so we don't have overflowing containers and things like that. We've put together an action plan for the team and for the resources we've requested. We've grown the program in the last 2 years primarily by adding staff and going from just 1 officer to 3 officers. This year, we're in the process of finalizing the funding in this current contract request for 1 additional officer position as well as an admin staff position to handle office tasks, which will also free up field staff to spend more time in the field and less in the office processing paperwork. So those positions will be devoted, these new positions will be devoted to primarily SWA-related dumping cases and proactive sweeps of commercial properties as well as multifamily properties. And we'll be ensuring not only that illegal dumping occurring in SWA areas, commercial and multifamily corridors, is enforced, but also looking at some of the other administrative and regulations in the SWA code that pertain to dumpster conditions, graffiti, and things like that. So as we've expanded our team, our statistical tracking methods haven't really kept pace with the level of productivity we've moved to. Up until 2017, it was relatively easy for just 1 officer to keep track of their own productivity because there was only 1 person on the team, and they could even use handwritten notes and just report back as needed to their superiors. Now that we've got 3 inspectors and we're anticipating the addition of another officer, we've really outgrown that, and we can't use those simplistic tracking methods anymore. So we're currently in the process of adapting the Acela software program used by the rest of our code enforcement division to meet the needs of our illegal dumping cases. Once that's complete, we'll have access to automated reports, centralized storage of case information, automated statistics, and a lot of other benefits by automating those processes. On the prevention side, we'll be targeting educational efforts with multifamily residences and owners to educate on the correct methods of disposal, as well as warning them about the consequences of improper disposal. We'll also be including illegal dumping outreach during our neighborhood cleanup events to reach single-family residences as well. This year, we're also going to purchase new cameras. High-quality photo and video of illegal dumping perpetrators is becoming increasingly critical to successful convictions in the local courts. The new cameras would come with some locational limitations because they need to be hardwired for power, but we see the benefits of 24-hour surveillance and much higher image quality far outweighing those limitations. Due to the higher expense, we plan to start with 2 units, and then we will evaluate those for future purchase to expand that lineup. We'd like a good chance to really vet those units before we invest potentially much more, in tens of thousands, in additional units. So as for statistics, as I discussed earlier, our past statistical methods were not very sophisticated, but we do have good data to share on a broad scale that demonstrates not only what the team's been doing, but it shows that our expansion of the program is having a substantial impact on our ability to issue citations to offenders and to follow up on the illegal dumping complaints that we're receiving. So looking at our year-over-year changes, we roughly quadrupled both of our issuance of citations and our response to complaints between 2016 and 2017. Those improvements are a direct result of the increased support we've received from SWA and from County Waste Management and Recycling. And in conclusion, with continued support from this board and as well as Waste Management, we're ready to make use of all the new resources we're putting in place this year to improve our efficiency and productivity, including substantial focus on proactive response to violations of SWA regulations in particular. We will continue to make progress on expanding our ability to respond to the needs of the county in scale and in speed in order to combat the rising threat of illegal dumping. Thank you. I'll take any questions you have, as well as Division Chief Barry Chamberlain is here to answer questions if needed.
Director Natoli.
Yeah, I appreciate certainly both the city and county folks' presentation. I think for purposes, not just of keeping statistics, but, and I appreciate, Brandon, that you've talked about expansion and citations. Maybe you have numbers to back that up. I think for SWA purposes, though, beyond acknowledging certainly the good work, I think there needs to be some sort of a little more standardized approach, and not necessarily have PowerPoint, but to have an understanding of either tons retrieved, certainly the citations, knowing that, response to calls, and maybe Brandon has that all in his packet, but I think it's important from the standpoint of the way the dollars are being allocated, and recognizing there may be differences, certainly in distinctions in both the way the county and city handles it, how they take the reports in, but also how they track that. I'm not looking to have a paperwork burden here, but I do think it's important because in the role and the hat that we all wear in this body, that making this money available certainly enhances and supplements the efforts that go on in respective jurisdictions. I think it's critically important, though, so that those who pay the SWA franchise fee, which in large part is not the city and county, it's those that we regulate in the community who provide that service. It allows us to supplement these services, but I think we have an obligation that says, beyond the contractual arrangement we have and the good work that's going to go on here, what are the results, at least as best we can track them. So I guess I'm going to offer in a very supportive way that both the city and county, we have a little more standardized approach to knowing, so that we can say that we've retrieved X amount, we not only responded to X amount of calls. I'm not measuring this by how many citations issued. I think that's not unimportant because it sends a message. At one time, the county had an approach where we went out and put signs throughout the county, and we offered rewards and so forth. I don't know if we even still do that. We do. There's a couple of remnant signs that are still out there in the rural south portion of the county. I will say, though, that this is a cooperative effort because what code enforcement does in the county, which I'm most familiar with, certainly solid waste and Department of Transportation, the way they respond to roadside dumping beyond that may show up on either private properties or in public rights of way. And certainly the effort that we have going on in the Parkway, which is, again, supported by solid waste, and certainly code enforcement has a role in areas that are adjacent. And so I guess I'm just suggesting that as we refine this, again, not to get caught up on paperwork, results are important, but we need to track that, because to the franchisees who pay the fee, by virtue of the money that we certainly allocate here, I think it's important to say to those folks that in addition to what they do in the private sector in collecting and receiving waste materials, what we do with our own solid waste departments, and then through our code enforcement efforts, that this is not only a meaningful endeavor, but it's one that supports, supplements, and here's some of the data that backs that up. So again, again, this is not being critical, Brandon, or very, but more hopefully be constructive, so we can make sure that we've got that aligned. I think it may help Doug and his folks too. So.
Yeah, I understand. And my apologies. I thought that you guys had the report in front of you. If you don't, let me at least respond a little bit. As you said, it's not entirely about statistics, of course, but I do have some for you. And I don't have things like the tonnage as far as the pickups that are being handled by waste management per se. But let me give you a little bit of those numbers. So for the year 2016, we were responding to 16.4 calls per month. For 2017, we about quadrupled that to 61.5 per month.
Mr. Cerna does that in one weekend.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way sometimes.
He's reporting them, he doesn't clean them up. Yeah, he replies.
I do both, actually.
I do, okay.
On occasion.
For the year 2016, we issued 17 citations, criminal citations. For 2017, we also roughly quadrupled that figure to 65 citations issued this last year. Specifically SWA, since we've added more recently a SWA-focused officer. Already have one on the team. Again, we're looking to improve that and add another. But she's actually already addressed 99 SWA violations, not illegal dumping per se, but more of the administrative, the rules, the dumpster regulations, overflowing, and things like that. So there's already, even just in the first couple of months of 2018, a substantial number of cases we've looked at for proactive lease for SWA.
Yeah, that's good that you shared that. Again, I think maybe some standardized, and maybe we can have, quarterly or semi-annual, maybe that's too much paperwork, and I'm not looking for a paperwork exercise as much as I am to, I think, really continue to demonstrate the results. And if there, again, are complementary efforts that are going on through solid waste divisions and recycling aspects, as well as through maybe even law enforcement or other activities that are, complementary, then we ought to maybe start including that, because it shows the broader role that certainly these monies support, but also the effort that's going on, because to your point, you made a moment ago that there's probably not too many people in the county that haven't certainly seen it. I don't, and many that have reported it, and I think the response time is certainly a key piece of that. And if there's some recovery through the citation process, I don't know if you're able to recover costs that then again show that helps, recover some of the costs that are being borne by city or county departments, but also, again, can, refund some of the activities that help us go after this particular problem, because this problem's not going away anytime soon. So
Currently, the criminal citation process, all of those funds are kept by the state, so we don't see those money back, or by the courts, I should say. So we don't see any recovery back to our program. The administrative citation process could potentially, get us some monies recovered. So we're looking at whether or not we would consider switching, or at least partially changing to that mode to help self-fund, but currently we just use the criminal citation process.
That's district attorney works with you, community prosecutor works with you on that? And
most of the time, no. Most of the time, our officers are representing the county themselves in court, but if we had something particularly difficult, we may bring counsel with us.
Good afternoon, Barry Chamberlain, Chief of Code Enforcement, Sacramento County. I just want to expound on some of the points that he made. One of the issues about our tracking part of it is normally we get our complaints directly off the wire. We take the 311 complaints directly now, and we get them directly from Waste Management. So moving forward, we're working on creating 2 code case types, one for the SWA violations and one for the regular illegal dumping, so we can track every incident that we get, so we can give you better numbers as far as what we're receiving and what we're handling. When we were working with one officer, we were basically just running around in circles trying to make sure that we covered all of our bases. So looking to move forward, we're looking to provide better tracking information, because we haven't had that in the past. So we're working on that. It should be up here in a couple months, and that way we will be able to give you the stats as far as what we're getting and how we're handling and what the result is. So that's it.
Okay, Mr. Sloan, did you have anything?
I did. I just thank you very much for your comments, and I just wanted to touch on that. One of the things that Mr. Israel and I have talked about is coming up with a standardized calendar for the SWA board meeting, because we do the budget, the preliminary budget in May, the final budget in September. One of the things that fits in perfectly with this would be an April recap of the previous calendar year, because at least Mr. Council on the city side is involved more with code enforcement, but he also does all the solid waste pickup with his crews. On the county side, it's a little bit different, because code enforcement has more of an arm's length with the department. But we certainly have a lot of tonnage information that we track for the Parkway and the different programs that they run. So we should be able to come up with a statistical report that would help. And part of that, in my mind, is really twofold. One, the board has approved money in the past for deterrents like bollards, additional cameras, and things like that. That all, in my mind, needs to be part of this annual report that we would come back, because the 2 entities may need more cameras. That seems to be, as you talk to the code enforcement people, a very effective way of trying to get somebody to the table in an enforcement action. If you have a license plate and you have a face, it's a lot easier to prosecute that person than just an eyewitness, and eyewitnesses have a tendency not to show up. But we are looking at coming back for some of those things, and this would be a perfect report that we could slot in.
Thank you. Director Cerna.
Thank you. So, as is often the case, Mr. Natoli stole much of my thunder on a subject, which is fine. But I do appreciate the comments made about the metrics that we as elected members of this governing body tend to focus on versus, understandably so, what staff uses, the difference between citations and the actual problem getting rectified, because that's obviously what is of import to our constituents. They want to see the illegal dumping taken care of. And so while we can certainly appreciate number of citations and aggregate amounts of fines and rewards that are paid, that's great, but ultimately it's about making sure that these areas are kept cleaner. Right, and that is the same thing that's the same standard that we, for instance, are holding to our park rangers as it relates to dealing with the presence of of illegal camping in our parkways. There's a citation process. I'm not going to tell you that I don't care about the citations, but the citations aren't really what is going to affect the change out there. It's going to be having a bolder, bigger presence to make sure we're helping people get out of the circumstance of homelessness on our parkway. So I, again, appreciate Mr. Tully's comments. I was wondering, Barry or Bannon, do we have the ability, or do we do it now, to have some routine heat mapping done similar to what the city showed for their illegal dumping in their jurisdiction? Because I think that's very helpful. I mean, of note is the fact that the area around the odd political geography of South Oak Park, where you have a peninsula of unincorporated area, and the district I represent, you can see that's where one of the most intense areas in the city is for illegal dumping activity. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it doesn't necessarily change just because you go from one side of the street with a green street sign to a white street sign. That is an area that's also very much affected by illegal dumping in the unincorporated county. But it would be good to see the city and county perhaps work together on a broader map so that we can kind of track this, as you mentioned, Mr. Sloan, every April. That would be a helpful implement to have in your arsenal of reporting back to us our progress, is having that map available.
There was one produced I looked at during the process of the study that SWAS has contracted. So there was a heat map produced for that for the county as well, so we could provide that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, at this time, I have a question relating to the charts that you have on page, what page is it? It's the budget to actual. It looks to me like the budget to
Not me.
the actual through March, or is that fiscal year? So that's September to March? Or is that January to March? The numbers that we're looking at.
On page 3 of item 9.
Yes.
Those for the city, that is a first 3 quarters, so July through March.
Oh, that's July through March. Okay, because I was thinking January through March, we're not going to have enough money,
Right.
even with what we're allocating. Okay.
Yes, we should be good there. And the county is actually for the first 6 months of the fiscal year.
Okay, and then my other question was relating to when we were first talking about getting a handle on the solid waste problem that we have. Do we anticipate that this will decline over time, that we have a great big cleanup and then there will be a less costly maintenance? Is that the way we're looking at this, or do you anticipate it's just going to keep coming?
This is going to be an ongoing issue.
Okay.
And the effects of 1383 and how we collect material under that, in my mind, is going to make the problem worse. So it's one of the things that at least on the county side, they're looking at that as creating a bigger problem.
Okay. So with that, I do not have any public comments on this items, and the staff is asking for a resolution for 2 contracts. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second, do we have to do them together or separately?
Can we do them all at once?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Move both.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And none opposed, so it passes unanimously, and we move to comments from the public, and I have none. And so with that, this meeting is adjourned. Oh, did you have any other comments?
Just wanted to thank the board members for all their work and attention today.
Okay, and I want to thank the board for nominating me for chair. Appreciate.
You got an early start.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much. This meeting's adjourned.